All right, Gold Member. Don't play the laughing boy. There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
The Dutch again! The Dutch again! The Dutch again! Again! The Dutch again! The Dutch again! The Dutch! The Dutch! The Dutch! Again! Fucking Dutch! Again!
Wow. Oh my God.
Awesome. Just awesome.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Marinus jumped in just in the last second.
yeah,
Close
Yeah.
call, man. Close call.
but I made it.
He's still not showing his video yet because he needs, put on some makeup, his hair, and to
Exactly.
look presentable for you guys. We do our best.
Presentable, yeah.
I'm here in spirit.
Oh man. Okay. We're here, guys. Another episode 16.
16 already. Wow.
Woohoo! Episode 16.
We've been going Dutch for already so long.
Yeah. So, how have you guys been, Roland? How have you been?
Awesome. A lot
How
of
have your
work.
bargain been?
I'm almost done with the project I'm working on for this Netflix series. And furthermore, I'm playing a lot of Fortnite with my boys right now because I need to grind and I want that Spider-Man symbiote skin on this game.
All right.
So I'm grinding the heck out of all the challenges.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Pretending it's for the kids, of course.
Yeah, well, it is fun to play with the kids, and especially my eldest kid. He's so fucking good, and he plays on his Switch, small screen. Maybe that's the reason, because you don't have to move that much. I don't know, but I'm on my PlayStation 5, but he's so good. So I'm
Right.
lucky to be in his team.
Right. But about your Netflix thing, you made something and it will be on Netflix, but you can't really talk about it, right?
No, it's all NDA.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be beautiful. I will in short time when things get announced, I will sure notify you guys.
Yes.
And hopefully I can put some work in my portfolio, and it will be awesome.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Okay, Marinus, how are you?
Well, my car broke down, cost me a fortune now. So I need to sell it because it's just too much problems there. So yeah, I have some worries there. When it comes to
Oh no.
Oh man, that's shite, man.
it is.
But luckily you're Dutch, so you have a bike.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh man, sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah,
That sucks.
that sucks always. It's such inconvenience as well.
So
Yeah.
let's just forget about the car, forget about the problems, and let's have some fun for 1 hour, 90 minutes, whatever. And let's say hi to the chat, to the people in the chat, the
Yeah.
glorious chat.
I'm back in a jiffy. So
Take your time. Take your time. We know you're here already. You made it.
All right, Bristolian Davis here. All right, me babbers. Entertain me. Okay.
We'll sure try. We'll just
will
have
try.
a nice conversation.
Try sometimes I see these streams and people put on these personas. They act weird or differently, and we're not really like that. We just discuss topics that we find interesting. That's it, basically. And we're so happy that you guys watch along with us. David Feed is here. Series secret formula: 1 blood gore scene plus 1 boobies per issue. An interesting story arc. All right. Welcome, David.
He's setting the tone.
Yes.
The tone. Love it. I love it.
Okay, so bloody gore scene. One boobies.
Only
You
one.
need
Yeah.
2, man. You need 2 boobies, at least. Or
No,
what areas
it-
there? You need 3 boobies.
It is plural. It's 1 boobies per issue. So I assume it's 1 pair of boobies per issue.
Oh, okay. Ryu, welcome.
Hi,
Welcome,
Ryu.
Ryu. Dr. Ino. Dr. Ino, welcome, Doctor. The Doctor is in the house. We're waiting for Marinus. What's
Not
up?
anymore. He's
Marinus?
here.
Lots of chatting. Nicholas Gear. Hey, welcome, Nicholas. Howdy,
Nicholas.
howdy, folks. Howdy. Where are you from, Nicholas? Howdy. From Texas? Texas.
Nicholas Gear. Is it? That's a peculiar last name.
Yeah.
Could be
Edith.
Dutch. Here. Hi, Edith.
Well, welcome, Edith.
Electronic Diff is in the house.
Yes. And RC Gates. RC Gates. Hello, everybody. Welcome, RC. I don't know if you've ever been here. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. If
RC,
you're new or returning, welcome.
RC did a very lengthy review of Perfect 10 on his own channel. So everybody watching, check out RC Gates' channel. Then we have Dojo Kun. Hey, Dojo Kun. Brian Menard. Welcome, Dojo. Critical Blast. We are here now. Entertain us. Another one who wants to be entertained. Man, a lot of pressure, guys.
Yeah, we just have a conversation. We talk about everything and nothing. It's a hit or miss.
Texas. He's from Texas. Nicholas from Texas. Okay. Did I miss anyone? I didn't miss anyone. I don't want to neglect someone, you know. Okay. Guys, this topic was based on something that Marinus proposed. Marinus wanted to do an episode about the mainstream industry, the mainstream comic book industry, if it's failing, if that's true, and if so, why? And I thought, why not take it from a more positive angle to begin with?
What? Any positive angle?
Yeah, a positive angle, man. People want positivity.
Yeah, there's always already so much hate and angriness on the net, and I know it sells. Angry people sells and get more views, but we're not like that. We're cozy, we're cuddly.
We're calm, man.
Yeah, we don't put these, like they said, we don't put these personas.
Boring.
I don't think we can do that.
We can slowly ramp it up, you know. It's
Let's
Tank Ferret.
build up.
Tank Ferret is here. Hey, welcome, Tank. You magnificent smaxy beasts.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'd like to be called Snacksy.
Smaxy. So so the question of the day is what keeps people invested in comic books?
Paper.
Paper, right?
Paper.
But you have digital books, for instance. So
Yeah, I love the paper. I love the smell of the new.
okay, so Roland, I think Marinus is still busy preparing.
Yeah, he's getting dressed. I just saw him.
Yeah.
He puts his leopard skin underpants on, so it's
Roland.
gonna be fine.
Roland, what do you need for a comic to keep you invested?
Well, character development is for me very important, and you know the usual suspects: good writing, good characters, and awesome art. That is for me the most important issues. And
that's the holy trinity.
It is. And,
Writing, characters, art.
Yeah.
Those three, right? Okay.
It's that. I can be short about it.
That was the show. Okay. Yeah. No, but basically that's it, man. It's comic books, so it's visual. So the visuals are very important. It's an important aspect. It doesn't mean it has to be mind blowing. It just has to be in service of the story.
Yeah.
You know, you can have. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Early comics of The Walking Dead. It was slow paced, but the writing was very, very good.
Yeah, The Walking Dead here. Here we go.
Yeah. I have the big one here, like the big omnibus of the first
Oh, you
ones.
collect the omnibuses. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lazy. Just want to
man.
buy the collections. But that's just awesome storytelling. And also visuals. And I like it's black and white. You can only, you don't get distracted with the colors, and I don't think that story needs it, to be honest. And so
This
it's a
is true.
perfect combination. You can have the trilogy, but still, if there's no chemistry between good story writing and art, for example, even though they're both awesome separately,
I
they can
believe,
still fail.
sorry for interrupting, but I believe we start maybe a little off topic.
Oh.
I think, I mean, well, what the topic is, the downfall of mainstream comics, and I know where Roland is going. I mean, writing, good art is essential, but where did it actually go wrong?
Well, they're failing of writing good stories.
Yeah, one of these three. I
Yeah.
think you
Yeah.
take one of these three pillars
Mm-hmm.
away, then
Yeah,
then
look
you
at
rely on the really hardcore, die-hard fans that will never leave the comic book for nothing, really.
look at the Clone Saga of Spider-Man. It was dragged way too long. The story writing was lazy and bad, even though the art was pretty good. I mean, Mark Bagley drew it at that point. He's an
Oh,
amazing artist, but
Mark Bagley's fantastic.
it just it just didn't work. And I think, of course, not only bad story writing is the main driving issue of the fall of the comics. It is also that the big publishers discovered like there is a collectible point to comics. So they were releasing comics with a lot of alternative covers, holographic covers, and everybody wanted to rebooted the series, having a number one. Everybody wanted to collect because they would think, I will have more money. I will see it as an investment. That's the marketing or the political side of the downfall of the comics. So you have different
Right.
reasons or issues why the comics fail. At least in the 90s. Now, at current times, I think it's just bad story writing, and they let all these SGWs doing the writing, and they don't have any thing or love with the comics or the properties they're writing. So there's which time are we talking about, and we have to address it first.
So can I? Dojo Kun states that he buys everything that features the She-Hulk. So I'm wondering, Dojo Kun, do you also buy comic books that are simply bad just because she's in there? Do you collect series that you think are basically terrible, but you just buy them because it's your favorite character? And is it still the character that you love?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, look at the current She-Hulk. Well, she's now being reverted to old school, but there was a time not long ago that she was, being basically Hulk, but then a real Hulk. The steroids Hulk instead of the feminine.
Yeah, more savage.
Yeah, it was bad. It's just bad. No.
Yeah,
I can't answer for Dojo, of course, but I can relate to myself. I'm a big Spider-Man collector, and I used to buy a lot of stuff for Spider-Man was in. For example, he joined Adventures with the Michael Bendis era, and so I bought those series as well. And at one point, I was buying the New Adventures, the Mighty Avengers, Spider-Man, all the series of Spider-Man, and then you had more Spider-Man men coming in, Miles Morales or whatever, and you had the Ultimate Spider-Man, and it was just getting overflown, and a lot of writing is just bad, but you just buy it because Spider-Man is in there and you want to follow his life or his adventures, even though they're really bad written. And then I have this whole cabinet, basically. I'm covering it right now, but those are comics, trade paperbacks I actually want to sell because I bought them at this point where they're releasing a lot of these, it's around the Civil War, just a bit after the Civil War publications with the Siege and all those series and those crossover events. And I just bought them, and you can't rent them or preview them before, so you have to buy them, and then when you bought them, you say, "Oh, this is really bad," and you keep falling in the same trap to buying the new collections again because you do want to maybe want to know how the story ends, but
Sorry, I
it
was a little
never
bit
ends.
distracted. We had this bot in the chat, and I just gave Dojo-kun
Yeah.
a wrench so he can take care of it.
Yeah. So
Thanks,
this,
thanks, Dojo.
so this is where I come from. I just raised the topic because comics is very dear to my heart. Still, I stopped, I believe, around 2006, 2007. Why? I just bought comics because I just bought comics my whole life. I did that, well, since I can remember. Every month I get about around 50 or 60 bucks on comics. So that's a lot of comics, right? From to Avengers, to Batman, to Superman, to Green Lantern, to Spider-Man. But there was a point that I just don't like it anymore because they were going into a direction, and I didn't know that at the time, but I, I thought to myself, maybe I'm too old for this, right? Maybe comics is not for me anymore. I mean, I'm collecting it and I'm not enjoying it anymore. So um, I just stopped at one point. I just say, okay, I'm stopping, but I just kept up with the changes, and then I saw a lot of radical changes in Marvel and in DC, mostly Marvel, um, and then I thought, okay, comics is still. Where do I need to go? Because at that time, I discovered some comic channels, and I basically getting into indie comics, and then more crowdfunding comics, not more like I mean, there's still mainstream indie comics, but mostly crowdfunded comics, And I was interested in these people and how they do it, and they have some direct contact with people, with their backers. They go in on streams, they talking directly to the chat, so as we do now, and that's the reason, one of the reasons that I just came back. But then, since I believe 2018, 2017, something like that, um, the big two, the creators, a lot of people left there. A lot of people came, well, not came back, but entered the scene. And those were these activists, these people, like you said, Roland. They have no affinity. They don't love comics. They just want sending a message. And they started slow, right? And they are, belittling, insulting, shaming people like me, right? That, let's say, Iceman, that was turned gay. People were not happy about it, and when people were vocal about it, they getting vilified by those big two, right? People that work there, and they're going on Twitter, on social media, etc. So those people like me were shamed into, oh, don't you dare talk about that, otherwise you are a bigot, a sexist, a homophobe, a racist, blah 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 blah. You know the spiel. And Marvel doubled down every year. But now it's been proven that those comics doesn't sell. I mean, I was a fan of Miss Marvel a long time ago before she turned into Captain Marvel. And from that point on, things went downhill, maybe earlier, maybe a little bit later. For me, it's more indie, just like you guys say, it's the writing sloppy. The message was not having fun with the characters and that you like and love. It's more like, oh, we're going to insert this character and we're going to change that character and we're going to change the background of the character because it fits our narrative. And when it all came out, also through people from in the indie scene, I was pushing the big two away. So as of now, I have only bought one comic recently, well, a while back. It was the Ghost Rider, and that was more like a one shot because the original team was in it from the 90s, and it was actually a very bad comic. So I went to Image, Dark Horse, Boom Studios, IDW, and to be honest, I have way more fun over there than in the main series. So yeah, that's why I wanted to bring up this topic. So
Well,
One sec, Roland. One sec.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to Mike Jimmy.
hey, Mike,
hey, Mike. Mike's here.
Mike.
Hi,
congratulations
Mike.
with your project, man.
Mike says story over artwork any day. Glorious, mind blown when it's both.
Yeah,
Congratulations on your project, Mike. I read it. It's amazing what you do. What you do there.
Yeah.
congrats, man.
But yeah, Bristolian Dave says story. So I think he likes story.
Well, I want to. Restelian Dave told me a while ago that he still buy mainstream comics, so I don't listen much to him anymore.
Yeah, but
You are
the
so
same with
bad.
movies, right? Bristolian
Yeah.
Dave watches
The only
anything.
friends
So.
on the surface. No, I'm kidding, man. I love you. You're good. Yeah. But yeah, stop buying mainstream comics, Dave.
No, but to be honest, Dave has a point. I think sometimes, with all respect, Marinus, you confuse what the freelancers Marvel hire. You confuse them with Marvel themselves, because the freelancers are their own property, their own brand, so they can write on social media whatever they want.
Sure.
And about the way some influencers or media jump on a ship. Now we always in comics had diversity or certain topics with homo or with hate or with or with discrimination. We always had it, but now if comics publish a story with a gay person or a trans person or Black Lives Matter issues, everything is so hot right now. So if a comic publish it, even though they did it years ago, they publish it, there's maybe nothing wrong with the comic. A gay Superman, fine. We had this before. And they just publish it. But what makes it worse are the people tweeting about it, making articles about it. They're making a mosquito big as an elephant, and you buy into it, Marinus. You think, oh, this is pushing forward of their ideologies. Maybe there is somewhat, but they don't scream it from the rooftops. They just publish it, and other people pick it up and they scream it from the rooftops.
I disagree. I mean, Marvel greenlit it, right? Nobody asked for.
Yeah, of course, but
nobody asked for race swapping. I mean,
Well, we had it in the past as well.
I'm sorry.
We had it in the 80s and 90s as well, race swapping.
Yeah,
or
but it was not,
gender swapping.
batted over the head, but also it was not, try to replace them. It was more like a story arc that I mean, it was a Black Captain America, right? But he wasn't here to stay. He wasn't here to, well, I'm the new Captain America now, and Steve Rogers is now a person that doesn't matter anymore. And
no, but your comics never ever there's a change of status quo. They always revert back to the old ways.
Well, not in the 5 years. I mean, the last 5 years was terrible for comics. That is why one of the reasons that the comic industry is now in shambles, because people don't buy it anymore, because the people at Marvel and in DC, they virtue signaling so much that people are just sick of it and they just walk away instead of, hey, listen, we got a cool character. He or she is gay or trans, or he is now Black, but give it a chance, and we have great stories to tell. But now, if you said, well, I don't like this character because I like the OG character more, then automatically you are XXXXXXX.
It's the combination. It's the combination really between changing up the things that we liked, plus attacking the fans.
Yeah, that I agree with you. But usually the attacks to the fans are usually from these freelance writers Marvel hires. But I do agree with you, Marinus, that I saw indeed a promotion video of those new warriors with Snowflake and Safe Space and whatever. And that was like, that was just bad. I was pushing it, and that's from Marvel officially. So I wouldn't agree with that, because they wouldn't do that in the past. So why would you do that now? And that I indeed see as virtue signaling, and I don't like that as well. So I do agree with you, Marinus, on a lot of your of your views, but sometimes I do feel that you kind of confuse people talking about it and actually the product itself. I mean, there was a recent movie, James Bond, I believe. They said it is a woke movie and don't see it, and because people were talking about before the movie came out, and in the end, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't woke or I don't know if it's a James Bond movie, but it's an example of a movie because people just talk about it and they want to claim it as though if it's woke or not. I don't know, but when you see the movie, there's nothing going on.
But I think
there is a lot of things going around.
I don't think you can compare one movie that comes out in 2 till 6 years to a monthly comic that comes out.
That's true.
Yeah, but I know where you're going from, and I'm not saying you are wrong, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't care if somebody that we have a black Captain America or that Falcon is Captain America. I don't care. What I do care is that this guy is gay now. Now we have another person that was never gay is now gay now, and the other person that is now a cis white male, heterosexual, is now changed into a female, and she can kick Hydra's ass with she is 40 kilos or something.
Oh, there you go into different roads, because I also don't care if they race swap somebody or gender swap. That's we are used to that. But then it's the story writing. What Bastodian Dave says here as well, the way they go around it, that's just bad and lazy writing. And then you don't interest me anymore. And that's where you were saying, the way they write those characters, the stories, is just bad, and it's just virtue signaling and finger pointing, and I don't like that. But further, just to swap a gender, it's like a Elseworld story. See what's fun to see what's
Elseworlds. That's something else, right? That's,
but it's not What If. It's not Elseworlds, and it's not temporary. They try to make it permanent. That's the whole problem. They basically, I don't say the word, but how do I bring this nicely?
Just say it, man. Just
say it. You don't have to
it
do nicely.
Now they basically rape your original characters that you want to grow up with, right? They put them aside and they replacement with others. And even if that's, let's go back to the 80s or 90s when there was X hero changes into X female hero, but the OG hero was always there, but it was never been putting down or vilified or destroyed like Captain America. I mean, when they made him a Hydra agent because he was always Hydra, and then they retcon him because no, it's not the real Captain America. We just made up in 1 month a new Captain America, and that's the real one. Yeah, fuck off. That's bad writing. But
I completely agree.
Besides that, they come up with new ways to retcon your heroes every month. I'm just exaggerating, but you know what I mean. They did it with Captain Marvel. They did it with Iron Man. They did it with Captain America. And they did it with Wolverine. Wolverine is now female Wolverine, who's also a Wolverine, instead of X-23. And it's all about girl power and look at my feminist agenda. But when in the 90s here, like we see before, we have a lot of diversity. We have a black Night Thrasher. We have, I believe she was called Nightshade or something, who was...
Silhouette.
Exactly, Silhouette, who was crippled, right? And later came that big black guy, I'm forgetting his name.
Rage.
Rage came along, right? There was a lot of diversity, but instead of expanding or and making more enriched storytelling with those characters, now they put them on all the side because they are the wrong new characters.
Yeah. Well, there you raise the point again. You talked about storytelling. I think that's the main issue. Introducing these characters. Okay, you can agree or not agree, like or don't like them. But the main problem is the bad storytelling, is the belittling in the storytelling. They don't know how to tell a story. They just pick people up. They don't have any experience with storytelling. They don't know how to do that. You see it in movies as well. The way they treat heroes now versus like a decade ago, and that's only storytelling. It's fine to introduce these modern characters or these very woke characters. It is fine, but tell a story we really like, and they don't do that. And it's the thing is that they want they want the hero to be them instead them wanting to admire the hero. It's the other way around, and that's all storytelling. Self-insert, belittling, attacking. That's not story writing. That's
it's just what Doji Kun is saying. I mean, do you really want to see Superman's son, who is now supposedly Superman, talk about their sexuality and kissing gays, and then have a cover with the climate change? And come on, nobody wants that.
Now I want to see him beat up Lex Luthor.
Exactly. Exactly. And by the way, the Superboy's costume is horrendous. But that's my personal.
If I would be interested in sexuality between superheroes, just make one comic that is appealing for that. Like we talked about before in Europe, we have a lot of comics, not a lot of superhero comics, I agree, but a lot of diversity in comics in World War, in science fiction, in medieval comics, and also comics that are more appealing to girls or guys who like to read girl stuff. For everybody there's a taste, and
sure,
that is fine, but don't put that taste in my Robin, in my Iceman, in my Superman. Just make one character that's all about it, and I'm sure there will be readers that like that, but just make a comic for them and not use a hero, completely different character before, and use that for those stories. If I want to read a Superman story, I want to see how he deals with being the only Krypton on Earth and being overpowered, battling other powered people. And I'm not interested in the sexuality, hetero, gay, or trans, or whatever. I just want to see action and character development. If I want to see about sexuality, I will go to buy a comic specifically for that.
Yeah, well,
right.
Aaron said, with the four, Force Hammer is now a female, right? Instead of just
right. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. By the way, let us say hi to Aaron H. Jordan.
Yeah.
Welcome,
man.
Hi, Aaron.
He says, I think that the swapping is only a problem if you belittle the character that the fans love at the same time. I love Thor, but won't pick up his comics anymore because they keep shitting on him.
Yeah, that's the problem. We had strong female characters in the past as well, until a decade or 20 years ago, and they never belittle men. And if you have a man character, that's that's the hero or of the story, the protagonist, he never belittles the women. Even though if the women are displayed sexy doesn't mean toxic or belittling. It could also mean empowerment, right? But with these race swapping or female heroes, like the Batgirl series or whatever, you hear more and more. Also with the Ghostbusters, I recently saw a Netflix series called Motherland, and they just outlandishly said, we women are the leaders of the world because we know men are shit. Basically, they literally said that. Women are better than men, they said. That's belittling. You never hear a Superman or a male protagonist say something about that to a woman.
Yeah, but the thing is that
maybe some examples, of course, but not that much.
That superhero comics were mainly geared towards boys.
Yeah.
That's a target audience, and girls had their own comics. But now.
Monica,
yeah,
right?
so now have this mind that white straight men are basically evil, and these are the people that are controlling these companies that made this superhero genre big. Then they chase away the biggest audience they have.
Well, To be
Not only that,
honest,
they also changed the names of certain ethnic group like Latinos to Latins. That's completely an insult to those people.
yeah, that's true.
You cannot do that, man. Just respect the culture, right?
And up till before, years ago, we went to the comic conventions and the events and the comic cons, and there were only men or families with boys and maybe sisters, but the boys were or the men were buying the comics. Some women as well, but there were few. And we saw a change that more and more girls were more interested in science fiction and comics as well, which is fine. You saw the charts when they were entering the comic cons, and they like to dress up, they like to role play, and you saw the pop collectibles, these big bubblehead toys. They were skyrocketing as soon as the girls entered that fandom, and which is fine. I'm totally for with a lot of women going into comics. But still, they like more manga, or they like more romantic stuff, or not everybody, of course. You have a lot of girls who like the violent superhero stuff, but most of the time they just still like the other stuff. And you can introduce girls to superheroes. For example, this comic about Mary Jane. It's not in Spider-Man world setting as in the mainstream universe, but it's just really nice to read a girl's perspective on being the girlfriend of Spider-Man. And this is the way to do that. This comic is not woke or whatever. It's just a way of telling a superhero story appealing to girls, or at least girls who like these romantic CW kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing. And nowadays you have books that basically no one likes.
They want to change it, but instead of introducing something new, even with already existing characters, put it in a Elseworld story, which is fine. Ultimate Comics was basically a big Elseworld thing. It was super popular. If you write it, if you make good stories, good characters, write it well, you'll have an audience. But don't change the things just because you want to appeal to a minority audience. Well, what do you want if you do appeal to the minority audience? Well, we know they don't give a shit, but then you lose the big audience. You lose the broader appeal because you want to appeal to the minority. And there's no money in minority. You want to have the money of the gross people.
What's also strange to me, right, is that you have basically two big comic book companies when it comes to the superhero books, DC, Marvel, and both of them are going the same route. Well, for instance, when DC would have embraced the fans, what the fans actually like, DC could have been huge right now. To do complete the opposite of what Marvel is doing, just continue making quality comics with these characters that we love. So it's really strange that this mindset has infected every company, even Image Comics.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a shame. If Dark Horse Comics, Image Comics, Top Cow, if they are going the same route, our only hope is indie comics.
Yeah, right.
Because there's still some hope in Dark Horse. There's still some hope in Image.
You're always optimistic.
Yeah.
Aaron says they love erasing the history of hundreds of people and characters just to say they're still struggling to be noticed. Yeah. Bristolian Dave says it's one of the problems with working with one massive universe. Not everyone writing in it is on board with the direction. This is why you need editors. You need someone to steer the ship like a Jim Shooter. Someone who has vision. Nowadays, it's you can do whatever you want. And there's no consistency The canon doesn't matter. History doesn't matter. Nothing matters, and that's the feeling when you read books nowadays. It doesn't matter, and usually it's something happened and has consequences for the future and for the history, and nowadays who gives a shit, man, what happens,
Yeah, well, that is a choice. Look at how Marvel treats a movie and DC. You can make choices if they are connected or not. But yeah, I do agree with that. But having an editor is not always a good thing, especially when the editor itself is has a different vision than you like, or would be an activist as well. I mean, look at Joe Quesada, I believe, what he did with Spider-Man. He just ruined the character. I think that was the beginning of the end, and they will call it One More Day.
Oh God, yeah.
But that was all Joe Quesada. He just fucked up that franchise, for me at least.
It's
And Straczynski, this name right, who was writing Spider-Man at the time, he got the blame for it because he was writing the stories.
right.
I never heard of him, actually, to be honest. Did he write other stories after Spider-Man? He wrote Babylon 5 and some He-Man episodes, right?
Yeah. No idea.
But a good editor stands for the customer. So a good editor should know what the customer wants. So if there are writers, sorry,
Unless you hate Trump, then that doesn't matter, right?
right.
Yeah, well, they need to. They need. This is so stupid to place someone's opinion on a left or right category. That is so stupid. If you are even right thinking that you automatically has a affinity for Trump, which is utterly bullshit. That's so not true. If you like comic gates, doesn't mean that you are right thinking. You can also be very liberal.
Yeah.
This is so stupid with this labeling. It makes no fucking sense. And I really, really dislike this label thing because they're talking about representation, right? We put the black person somewhere because he represents the black people. This is utterly bullshit. There's if a white person is in a movie, he doesn't represent me. Tom Holland was in Spider-Man. Well, he was in the Netherlands. Well, all the images from the Netherlands doesn't represent the Netherlands. I really don't believe in any kind of representation. Anyone.
Oh man.
I don't believe in representation.
No,
Everybody is their unique individual. You can have black people that grew up in a very rich environment, and if they put him there because he represents the black community, well, in America that's totally untrue because most the black community people are living in poorer areas, statistically speaking. So how can you put this person that grew up in a rich family as a representation? You should put somebody that came from a poorer region. No, that could be white as well, because a lot of white people are poor. So this is so much bullshit representation.
I don't get why people are clamoring for representation so much, while all you need basically is human understanding. You have to empathize with people. If you need someone in a fictional medium to look like you in order to empathize with them, how can you relate to other people?
Exactly.
And these are the people writing the comic books. They can't relate to you because you don't look like them.
We don't have purple hair.
For instance, we're not big green monsters. It's so strange, man.
That's I think that's the world upside down. They want to. everybody and every individual in their scene wants to be represented in a big medium, like television, movies, or comics. Even comics is not big; it's very tiny right now. So they will put forth a Superman. They change a Superman to represent them individually. But that's about representation. You can't really represent somebody. Instead of let the person idolize Superman, because what Superman stands for is not about race, it's not about sexuality. Superman stands for strength, loyalty, heroism, sacrifice. That is what he represents. Superman doesn't represent a person, he represents an idea. He represents hope. And they don't get that. And of course, even minority people also want to have, look up for hope, or everybody wants hope or goodness or kindness, and not the physical attributes, being a woman, man, a kid, black, sick, gay, whatever. It's not about those things.
Yeah. I saw a little bit, to go back on the topic of why we are invested in comic books. I saw, I think, Bristolian Dave say that he even continued reading a series because of the story. Well, the artist changed, and he didn't care much for the art. And Dojo Kun stated that he dropped a series because the story changed. So the same artist, the artist that he loved, but the story was crap. So two different, very different, opposite reasons to drop your series.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but with me it goes in waves. Sometimes I'm super into a comic and I follow it for a time, and at some point I'm just bored. Could be writing, could be art, could be just it's dragged on forever, and I just drop it. And then 5 years later I will pick it up again, and I feel bad because I'm missing part of the story. So I'll go back and buy all the comics again that I missed in the past 5 years. Even though they're bad, and it confirms, but it goes with me. It goes in ways. I drop it.
Sorry, what Bristolian Dave? On the screen is a page from a series that was once one of my favorite comic book series. That was the Savage Dragon. I have a huge collection of Savage Dragon, and at one point I just quit because it got too political. Larson couldn't help it. He just had to tell everyone his political views, and now even well, you can't read it here, but it's basically Savage Dragon's son is now the Savage Dragon, so that's one reason why I basically dropped it. But he is telling this lady to get vaccinated because COVID. This is not why people read comic books. You want to get away from all the bullshit. And look at this text, man. This is not. Well, this is good, but this is too much text. It's just lecturing someone.
Yeah,
Marinus, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm listening. I mean, I'll let you rant for a change.
No, but this is basically it. This is the same creator, the same art. The art got a little bit rougher, but basically, I still dig the art. But the stories, it's political. It's just not about fun anymore.
No, it's about lecturing people.
I don't get it. This guy, Eric Larson, he got it. He made great books once.
Yeah. Well,
so something happened. Something scrambled his brain. Bristolian Dave, escapism. That's it, man. Anyone who doesn't understand that shouldn't write comics. Yeah, but this is a veteran, Eric Larson. These newbies. They come in with the mindset, I'm going to change everything, and this is his own book. So I don't get it.
And what David Feed is quoting: "If you don't like my politics, don't buy my books." It's not officially. It's not officially directing from Marvel Comics. It's from this writer, freelance writer. But yeah, so we don't buy your comic, and what happens? It just fails. It fails miserably. Well, and then of course you can blame the man. Well, and she's right, because we don't like her comic, and then and we men still are the minority that buys the comics. So yeah.
Well, except me.
I still like the boobs though. Good boobs.
I mean, this is what happened. All these people has always had the view of left leaning, and that's okay if you're left leaning, if you are a left extremist like these people. But then when the media changed, and when the comic book industry changed, or Hollywood changed, or whatever, that gave them the ammunition to go completely bonkers with their own comics, with lecturing people, because they are the quote unquote right side of history. And everyone who has a different opinion about certain comics, they were, all the insults that they give you through the years. I'm not buying those comics anymore. I mean, the old guard, like me, mostly, is gone. They're going to manga. They're going to crowdfunded comic. They're going to indie comics. I mean, sure. Yeah. I was in that mindset as well when I just buy comics from Marvel Comics to have those comics, but not because I just like the stories anymore, but I want to have issue 465 of, I don't know, Batman or right, or Spider-Man. But at some point, it doesn't matter anymore, right? Because it goes on and on and on, and the stories were not fun for me. And that's why I'm doing these reviews on my channel, Darksyde Comics. And I go always back to where comics for me was fun. And it was, 80s, 90s, mid 2000s. Those were for me the most fun comics. And I still read them, still read quote unquote new comics. I mean, I buy, comics that I haven't heard before, like Prophet, that I haven't read. I mean, old school Prophet.
Yeah. Okay. So this is old school Prophet, right? This was badass. It's not for everyone, but that's cool. That's the way it's supposed to be. Every comic is for someone, but not for everyone. Yeah. Okay. So when people tell you comics are for everyone, they don't mean every individual comic. That's not possible. But Prophet was awesome, and then it got rebooted, and you got this.
What is this? Are you fucking?
No. Oh man!
Is this the same character?
It's the same character.
European makeover.
Actually, it's not the same character, because this was the design, the original design. And
this is very iconic.
It gets rebooted, and they create this, and I'm like, what's the upgrade here? Why?
Let me explain a little bit. I read this Prophet, and it's let's say it's totally different. This Prophet is actually bonkers. This is it feels more like a European horror science fiction comic. That's what it is. And I'm not agreed that they're using the Prophet name, because, like I said, 90s Prophets is way badass. It was way different, as big swords, and this Prophet is. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but it's.
Why do they do this? Why they just don't create a new character?
Dave?
Sorry, what?
Do you have another example of this Prophet? Like the interior.
Of this Prophet? No. I do have another example of another character.
Well, apart from visually. But
Prophet.
Yeah. What is the connection with the Prophet, with the previous Prophet? What is the connection? If there's no connection, why call it Prophet? Why don't call it another name? Have a complete different IP? What is the fucking point of changing it so much?
Yeah,
exactly. This is what I've been saying so often. If you change things too much, they lose their essence, and you might as well call it something different.
Yeah.
Glory. Used to be this again, not for everyone. I liked it. Okay, I bought this.
Yeah, me too.
Then it got sold alongside Profit
Oh,
to-
here we go.
to reboot, and
Oh
we
my
got
God.
this.
Wait. What? Say what?
This is Glory.
No, that's not
Yes.
Glory.
Yes, it is.
Th-
But-
this
but-
is an oversized
Well, actually
Uber
good.
zombie.
This was actually good. This was pre-social justice warriors. This, well, maybe middle, but this Glory, you need to have another cover. Old Glory was more like a Wonder Woman ripoff. For me, it didn't work, except that she's just looking good and sexy. And then I read the new Glory, and it was way more badass.
Could
As you
be,
will, because
but what
it was-
is the connection with the previous one? Shared
Nothing.
history? So
Yeah.
if there's no connection, give it another name, another property.
Exactly.
Don't
Hey,
sell.
welcome, Alec Horowitz.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I didn't
So-
know you guys were still doing this again. Yeah, sorry, man.
Yeah, we're off and on, and we had like holidays in between, something small like Christmas and New Year's.
What's the beeping sound?
What's the beeping sound, guys?
It's my dishwasher.
All right.
No bomb.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Yeah, you like something, you collect this series, and and then they continue the series in a different fashion. So completely rebuild it, restructure it, make it something else, and then what?
What's the fucking point?
Yeah, what
By
are you supposed to do?
rebranding it.
Continue to collect it? You know, it's not the same book.
No, just stop it. Drop it. You don't like it. So,
No.
you voice your opinion with your money.
With the whole Captain Marvel thing, I mean, it's such an unlikable character now. Before she was Miss Marvel, and the original Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel, I mean, the Captain Marvel from Marvel, not the Captain Marvel from DC. Well, that's probably another topic. But you know, I loved Marvel. Marvel was great. He was one of my heroes, my true heroes in comics. And then they fucked it all up with this. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave,
We
feel the
raised,
same.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Just tell us your desires, Dave.
But Marinus had a quite interesting point looking at the other side. He didn't like the original character of Glory before, and this new, I don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade, this new version could be better written, could be, I don't know. I don't like her appealing. I like the other more appealing, but I didn't read the comic, so
Yeah.
I don't like her design, but I do like the art. So yeah.
Right. And Brie Larson gave Alec a stiffy, or oh no, stiff performance. Sorry, man, I misread. Yeah.
Well, you're right, Dave. When you change things too much and give it the same IP name, it's not good. But sometimes they just reboot it with all the wokeness in there, and that's also not good. It's exactly the same story, but then with woke.
I hope they don't bring him back. I hope
So they don't change a lot, but then they
No,
little things.
nowadays, sometimes I see people posting stuff. Which franchise from your childhood would you see rebooted or
Nothing.
coming back? And I'm like,
Nothing.
none whatsoever. Haven't you learned anything these last 6 years?
See what
Now.
they happened with He-Man.
Now.
Oh my god.
I mean, like Tank Ferret says, Monica Rambeau is the only living Captain Marvel. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
At
can
that
agree.
time, I wasn't on board with that because I was too much attached to the Captain Marvel name. But now, in hindsight, yeah, she was way better Captain Marvel than.
For me, my first Captain Marvel was indeed Monica Rambeau in a comic of Spider-Man where she was introduced, I believe.
Yeah, that was a cool issue.
Yeah, beautiful drawn by John Romita, of course, and he has such a style.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was introduced to a Captain Marvel. So for me, that's the OG.
What?
Right.
Oh man.
Right. So, yeah. Are there any modern comics that you still collect, Roland?
Here we go. It is like I have to buy them because of the collection. So I'm a big Star Wars fan.
So you don't have to buy them.
No,
You have to buy
that's
them.
true. I am a big Star Wars fan, and I like. So I buy the Star Wars comics from Marvel, but I do not buy. I do not buy the High Republic. None. I am avoiding that. The Darth Vader and the mainstream Star Wars comics are really well written. The characters are very well,
Heresy.
and Dr. Ephra is very well written as well. Good art. But now it's like I said, it's going away. So now my Star Wars comics is a bit on the downside. My Spider-Man comics are a bit on the downside. I'm afraid to pick up Spider-Man, even though I heard John Romita is illustrating again. I'm really looking forward to it. I just dropped, I think, just after the whole Parker industry stuff, because that's up till that point, I think Superior Spider-Man I liked, and then they went back to basic, but the writing wasn't there. I know it's Dan Slott. It's a hit or miss, usually a miss. So yeah, I'm afraid to pick up Spider-Man, and just leave it there. It's too much as well. So many Spider-Man. Maybe if I would buy some Miles Morales comics, I really like that art. But yeah, otherwise I'm not buying modern comics. I just bought this one. Just ordered this, came today.
The Incal, not
Yeah,
the Incel.
Mobius. Come on.
It's and I really recently took some comics from my neighbor, some old 90s comics for Gen 13 and the Divine Right and those comics. I bought them for like super cheap.
When the comics were still cool.
Yeah, I had like this big pile, even bigger, for like 20 euros or less.
Right. So, Marinus, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What if the big corporate mainstream comic guys suddenly got a change of heart, and they were like, maybe we did it wrong, because they see their sales tank, and so they go back to how they were. Would you also go back to them?
I think not, but it depends why they go back. It's just more like, well, the sales are dropping, and I don't think they care about the sales, because it's been proven that the sales been tanking over and over again. I mean, certain numbers that was once numbers for cancellation is now basically a hit. That's keeping them afloat. That's how bad they are doing, and they keep pumping out, hey, we're going to change this character and the person that you don't like. Take that, incels. They continue with that thing, with that, butchering of your favorite characters. So even if they decide to go back to how they once were, they need to have a good reason. If their reason is, oh, we need to make money again, that's not good enough for me. They have to bow for me. They have to go through dust. They have to apologize over and over again. They need to fire all these activists immediately and never set foot in the comic book industry again. Then maybe, just maybe, I go back, but probably not, because for me, the damage is done.
Yeah, and the trust is lost. It's like, it's like you have a relationship with this girl, and she badmouths you all the time, and then you break up. And at some point, she will want you back, and then you have to think, okay, why does she want me back? Is she going to badmouth me again, or am I just going to back for some casual sex? It just depends. You can go back sometimes, pick up some comics, like a booty call, and then the comics you really like, and then continue not buying stuff from them anymore. You don't have to be black and white, going all the way back to the big publishers. You just can pick up one comic, read it, and say, hey, this is pretty good. You disagree. It's your principle in that sense.
Yeah, it's more of a principle, because I refuse give companies money that basically telling me to fuck off and that I'm a worthless piece of shit because I don't like X decision. right? Just because I don't like X decision doesn't mean I'm a, label. I just disagree with their decisions to do X decision. I don't want to be vilified. You can say, hey, maybe this character is not for you, but we're going to push it anyway.
No, I get that, but like what Dave said, if they put out, they reverse the policy, even though you don't like it. If they push, release some comics that are really in your alley and you really like the writing, the art, you just don't buy them because of your principle. Because if you would buy them, then you will show them, this is what we love, this is what we like. So keep publishing these things we like, and you do that by giving them your money. Then they know, oh, this comic sells well, we're doing something right with this comic.
But it's not genuine. That's the whole thing.
I don't know.
Why
wouldn't this be genuine? This is genuine. This is good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why.
Genuine is, yeah.
No, but I've seen the people that are working behind the curtains. They don't like you. They hate you. They want you gone. They want all these blue-haired activists in their corner. So if they are saying, well, we're going back now, like I said, there must be a very good reason to go back. But I don't think they're going to do that because they still hate you, but they don't say it up front.
If there's a change of policy within a company, they will probably remove the people that still exhibit or push forward the old policy. They will put them on the sideline, and they will move them, and they will put other people in there. If they are changing policy and the same people that were bad-mouthing you before write your new IP, then I agree with you totally. Then it's fake. But there is another creative team, and they on this comic. So
I don't know. They I believe some characters are irredeemable for me now. I'm never gonna pick up a Captain America book again. I'm over that character. Avengers doesn't do it for me anymore. I don't know. I don't think so. I have to think about that. I cannot give you a clear answer. It's a good question, by the way, but I think I'm burned up about the big two.
Yeah.
Unless they erase my memory about what happened the last 5 or 6 years, I'm probably never going back to those two. Yeah.
Another thing that soured my connection with comic books, with mainstream comics, is the attitude of the creators. Even if they could make quality comics, I cannot forget how they mistreat their customers and talk about them and their egos. And it's back in the day, you had this comic book and you saw the name Jim Lee. You knew nothing about Jim Lee. You knew nothing about Mark Waid. You knew nothing about all these people, just the name and the quality. That's it. And nowadays, everything is comes with this extra baggage. It's it's not good for the experience.
No, I find this difficult. I don't know what they have in mind on this, because a lot of those creators are freelance, and so their own name is their own brand. Maybe they want to appeal to a certain people by doing that. I just usually keep off my politics of Twitter and of those things, and I really, I can shift idea, or I can see more perspective, or I can see different points of view on thing. But I don't know. I find it difficult. Can you distinguish the art from the artist in that sense? I mean, even though looking at Michael Jackson, for example, if he molested kids or not, we never know. But I still like his music. I can still sing it along, and I really enjoy his music a lot. And he has good messages in his music as well. Would that change if this is different, because Michael Jackson wasn't bad-mouthing me personally, attacking me because I'm a white middle-aged guy or something. That is different. In that sense, I'm not making child molestment or rape less, and that's not what I mean at all, because that's bad. But we still don't know if he ever did that. It was never proven. Only, people maybe want to crash grab from his family. But I mean, it's different when creators, like Dave said, attacks their readers or in some point, or insult them or belittle them. Then I don't know if you can distinguish the art from the artist. It's tough for me, because I'm an artist myself, and I want my art to speak for myself and not me personally. Because
this is why they say never meet your heroes. It's best to not know, just enjoy the product, and these creators just should keep quiet and only promote their stuff. That's basically it. They're their own branding.
Yeah. But to be honest, Dave, you're doing kind of the same now with this stream.
With
give
this
your
stream,
opinion.
yeah.
It's not bad. I'm totally for freedom of speech, of course, and I really like opinions a lot. I will never get angry if somebody else has an other opinion. I can try to, understand them, or maybe fight them, verbally, try to convince them, or at least see them my point of view. If they don't like my point of view, but you have a conversation, and the thing with conversations and discussions is not to win over each other. It's try to understand each other, getting closer. It's not about winning.
Roland.
Sorry?
I like to win.
Yeah, I know you're very competitive in that sense.
I know.
When
I feel good,
which can be good.
Which can, but that's the thing with nowadays. Everybody, if they voice their opinion, you could expect, especially with the polarized thing we're living in right now, you could expect a big backlash and mob bashing, basically.
Yeah, you can express your opinions. Just don't disrespect your customers or other creators, or keep it classy, keep it professional.
Yeah, that's true, because we voice our opinions here. We could be a bit left, we could be a bit right, progressive,
we're so
or
professional
conservative.
It's
but I don't think we really insulted somebody personally. We can sometimes stereotype or generalize, but there's always a core of truth in those things. But we don't ever personally attack certain people or individuals.
No, man. No. Okay. That was a cool discussion, guys. Marinus, you have something to add?
No. I'm actually agreeing with Roland here. Yeah.
Wow. It can happen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, there's multiverses right now, so it blends together.
Yeah.
Of multiverses, I'm sick of multiverses, by the way.
This is true, man. Multiverses.
It is everywhere right now. The multiverse of things. DC, Marvel, games.
It doesn't matter anymore which character lives or dies, because we have the multiverse. So somewhere there's still a Spider-Man or still a Superman. It doesn't matter. So if Kal-El dies, the multiverse is another Kal-El, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that keeps people invested in comic books. Like we said, you have to feel that things matter. If it doesn't matter, why even read it? It's basically
the multiverse is the whole new solution for the returning dead. Now they can make somebody really stay dead, but we'll pick him up from a multiverse. It is just a cheap new writing, to be honest. I'm really scared of it. They can do good. I still think Into the Spider-Verse is one of my most favorite Spider-Man stories and animations.
You've seen the new one? You've seen the new movie?
I did just 2 days before the lockdown here in this country. I was very lucky. I think I was one of the first in Europe who saw it. It was at 7:00 in the morning on a Wednesday.
All right. Awesome.
I think only the UK beat us to it.
Okay.
one day.
Okay, guys. I think we basically discussed things, right? The things we wanted.
I'm expecting Marinus to have a bigger rant on this topic.
Yeah, me too.
Did I steal your thunder? Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, you did a good job, man. So sometimes I don't have to rant all the time. It's more like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
But is there anything you still want to let it out there? Another time, another topic.
No. What can I add to this discussion a little bit? What I haven't already said. I mean, I'm so into indie comics right now that, and other companies besides Marvel, even if they go up in flames yesterday, I don't want Shira tier because of the state they are in now, right? I would be very sad that creators that are probably here in the chat and here, or Indiegogo or Kickstarter, whatever platform you prefer, cannot make comics again, right? Because one time, I mean, indie comics and crowdfunding comics are, I believe, hotter than ever, and we need to keep the momentum going. And because the big two doesn't give off what we want, so we need to create our own IPs and create our own stories. So support indie comics, support each other, right? Help them out if you can. If not, just retweet support for your social media or whatever, or maybe you just give maybe $1 or €1 or maybe some digital options, if you will. Just, these people are really helping with what we want, and they need to get their dream come true through us. So
exactly.
Take your money out of the DC Marvel and put it into comics, in the indie comics.
Put it into people who really care.
Right.
Yeah.
The indies are the mainstream of the future. So.
And don't let anybody else convince you otherwise, because there are a lot of creators hired by Marvel. They will say, "Oh, comics are declining in Marvel, DC, and indie comics are down." Well, news for you: indie comics are hot. Indie comics are up and coming.
Right.
Right. So Dojo Kun dropped his link to his campaign, Toro Tales, coming soon. So check that out, guys. In the description of this video is also the link to our pre-launch campaigns for American Bliss and for Perfect 10 issue 3. So sign up while you can to get some free stuff. And what's this? More indie comics, Indigo probably. Janice Hardy, Healing Wars. All right, that's another one. Check it out, guys. Like always, Marinus, Roland, I want to thank you for doing this with me. It was a great chat.
Yeah, a lot of action today.
Yeah, and special thanks to the chat for being here and for the interaction and the feedback and questions. We love you guys.
So much chat. Sorry we didn't pick all your comments, guys. It's a lot.
And we hope to be back next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Hope so.
Okay. See you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.